Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode, a mini episode of the Back to Backlog podcast with me, Lindsay.
And Sam.
We are working on a larger JRPG episode. It's been a process, and there's been a couple technical and mostly just technical difficulties.
Also, they take a long time to play.
They do take a long time to play. So we're just going back and revisiting some of the ones that we want to talk about, and it's just taking some time. So that is coming up within the next couple of weeks. But we figured we would talk about our Steam Decks. I got mine last weekend. Sam, you got yours last month.
I want to say it was a couple months ago, but last month could also be right. Time is weird for
I
me.
don't remember.
Time is weird for me.
Yeah.
But I've had it for a little while, long enough to sort of have a lot of just experience running this thing, for sure. And
which has been helpful for me.
And it's massively helped with working on the JRPG episode.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed because I was kind of banking on emulating a bunch of stuff on this, and I just don't have the capabilities because you need the dock, and it's easier with a Linux system, which I also don't have. It's very possible. It just takes a little more effort on my part, which I do not have the energy to expel right now, or the money to buy, the $50 dock. I think there's probably some that are less expensive. I was going to look into getting a cheaper one until the official one is out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to buy that and I'm expecting the official one to be around like probably $75.
Yep. Well, and I know a lot of the time when I need my Steam Deck to have like a whole keyboard and mouse setup, I already have a laptop that I kind of run docked, so I usually just switch out my USB hub and connect it to the deck instead, using just like a C to A adapter.
Don't have one of those, so I also can't do that.
Right. And that
nor do I have a Bluetooth keyboard.
So
it'd be cheaper to get the adapter.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I have, because I've been playing my Steam Deck in the in front of my TV, even though I'm just sitting in a chair. I don't even know if I'd have room for a keyboard. I would need a small compact one.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't think the Steam Deck needs it 90% of the time. Literally only when I'm setting up brand new stuff that is not from the Steam store, like all the emulation stuff, or homebrew stuff, stuff from itch.io, setting all that stuff up for the first time. So I just swap it out with my laptop at my desk, and then don't worry about a keyboard the rest of the time. Just because I think it's really wonderful how every single game you can just go into the Steam input and be like, hey, these back paddles are going to be the F1 key, the F key, Control Alt. Steam input has made it so versatile that just stuff that was never meant to run with a gamepad can totally be forced to.
I'm sure they had that in mind, though. I think Valve is pretty aware of its customer base.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. So the thing is that, they built all of the Steam input tools for the Steam controller, because the Steam controller has, a big trackpad that's kind of like the little...
ugly, though.
Oh, it's hideous. But I've gotten used to it. It's a little weird. I wouldn't use it for a first-person shooter, but, just because they swap out the right thumbstick for the right trackpad... But it does have two back paddles, so I was mapping the back paddles in RetroArch to open the menu or load a save state sort of thing. So it does have configurable buttons and stuff, but I mean, yeah, no, 90% of the time a regular Xbox One controller would be the better recommendation for a docked Steam Deck. 1,000%. I
don't think I could even go back to playing an FPS or any shooter with a controller now that I play most of them on PC now.
Um,
I mean, I could hack it, but like, I
yeah,
think you have a lot more control with mouse and keyboard.
you're totally right. I will say though, one of the first things I did, so, and I wish Valve would have preloaded this game on the deck, like Sony preloaded like Astrobot Rescue Mission, um, which is the I want to say Aperture Science Desk Job. It's
Oh,
completely free. It's a free demo. It is totally 1,000% intended for users of the Steam Deck. Like, your main character has a desk that looks like the Steam Deck, and they like make you
huh.
like push all the buttons and test things, and it exercises every feature of the Steam Deck.
What's it called?
Aperture Science Desk Job.
I am putting that into Steam now.
Yeah,
I can't spell aperture, apparently.
I super wish that they just would have preloaded it because it's made for it, and it is a great first experience. Um, and that is a first-person controls, like it's Portal controls. It's very limited experience, but it's just a fun, cute demo in the Portal world. And then I went from that and I played a bunch of the Half-Life games, and I will say the
I could see Half-Life being good on
the
this.
gyro, yeah, I don't think competitive first-person shooters would
Yeah,
work.
I guess that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Like, I would play something that
like
was like
single
a
player
BioShock.
offline.
Yeah, like a BioShock or a
Yeah.
Half-Life on
Um,
this. But I'm just thinking about playing. I don't play Call of Duty, but I think
yeah.
I don't actually. I'll use PlanetSide as an example because that one I've played more. Um, I don't think I could play something like that.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, I don't think it would run on
yeah,
this,
totally
but
fair. No, so single player first person shooters I think work amazing on it because you can configure
yeah.
the gyro like, and it only activates when your thumb is on the right stick. So like if you're
Mhm.
using the buttons, it's not going to gyro by accident on you. Um, and that's configurable like everything else. You can have it always gyro or never gyro. But I really like the gyro aim, just using the stick to get in close and then dialing it in. I mean, what's it like? Splatoon and all that on the Switch use that. Um,
Yeah, I did like Splatoon on Switch.
so I think the gyro aim is fantastic. But yeah, I can't speak to competitive. um,
I mean, I can't speak to being good at competitive like that. I play them. Am I good? No, I mean, I'm probably pretty average. Like,
yeah,
if I'm being real. Um, Although I will say I was pretty good at Overwatch, and I'm so disappointed at all of the information coming out about it. But I guess it's probably for a different episode. But I'm not feeling good about it, which is
yeah. Well,
tragic because it's one of my favorite games.
I know, and Tim Sweeney himself was tweeting out that he's like, nope, we can't put our big popular games like Fortnite and whatever. Is Overwatch even? No, Overwatch isn't Epic. It's
Overwatch is a Blizzard
Blizzard.
exclusive. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
Fortnite is Epic.
a lot of those big ones. They're like, we're not going to put these games because we can't trust that the anti cheat won't be like circumvented. For a bunch of like kind of understandable, but also kind of BS technical reasons.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I think it makes sense because some of those games, like I'm thinking, like League of Legends and Valorant have pretty strong in like the anti cheat for Valorant was kind of an up in arms thing when the game released because of how it works. I don't
yeah,
remember the ins and outs, but I
it's
remember.
it's kernel level. It's the
Yeah,
problem is kernel level anti cheat. It's
so
when it has to
I could
hook
see.
into the OS like an antivirus.
Yeah, I could see why they would be concerned. Also, I mean, they would make less money if you could install the Epic launcher onto this.
I don't
But
know.
I'm sure it's just a matter of time before somebody figures out how to do it, and then they're just like, fine.
Well, so you can install Epic Game Store games using the Heroic launcher. That's a Linux app that just lets you log into your GOG and Epic Game Store
Oh, okay.
accounts, and then it like presents a user interface. You can download games. It really is
Okay.
just those specific games that have kernel based anti cheat, and the developers have decided not to like enable it because Valve has done
Yeah.
everything in their power. All the anti cheat houses, like they all support every OS. It is up to the game developer to decide to turn it on or not at this point. Like it's not
Gotcha.
even a like not compatible. Like no, the anti cheat guys are like, yeah, we have a Linux version. It's literally just those developers being like, ah, we don't trust it. It's new.
I feel like it's also probably just not a. Well, I don't know about Riot because they're kind of stingy.
Mm.
Not that Epic isn't necessarily, but I don't think that they prioritize there because you can play it on the Switch, but like it's not a very good experience. Like,
Yeah.
so I can see them maybe not prioritizing something like this to make it work because also the amount of people that would probably be interested in playing Fortnite specifically on this machine is probably like 12 people.
I don't know. It's a way more popular game than I ever realized.
Oh, it's
Like,
super popular, but I just, it's I mean, I play it religiously. Like I play it almost every day and I love it. But like it is it's a younger base. There are a lot of older players too,
yeah,
but like its main, attraction is kids.
that's fair. That's fair. And
So
you're thinking that like a humongous audience for like the Fortnite crowd is really people on their phones and then people on
yeah.
on their desktops.
Or like a more traditional console like Xbox or PlayStation.
Gotcha.
Like I think the amount of people that are playing it not on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation is probably fairly small. I can't imagine the mobile experience is very good because there's just a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Although when it comes to kids, like if that's what they got, they'll figure it out.
Oh, that's true.
They always do.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, I mean it's a great game, but
yeah, I mean I will say, I think you're right. I think that like the Steam Deck would be a great gift for a kid, but I think that the people who know they want it are people who have like years of Steam sales under their belt and they just have a backlog of Steam games to get through.
I do think a child under the age of like 12 would probably have a hard time holding it.
Oh,
like
that's
they would need
super
the dock.
fair. Yeah. We were just talking earlier about this. This thing is heavy. It's hefty.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really comfortable. I think that they design the grips perfectly, like to mold it to your hands. But like, yeah, I found my arms got numb once or twice.
I have really small hands too, and like I'm not finding myself reaching for anything other than maybe the Steam button. But like it's just a matter of moving a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's pretty comfortable. But like I have tendonitis, so like I can't hold it. Like I can't even hold my Switch up to my face for more than like 45 minutes at a time without my wrists being like, what are you doing?
So I do. So maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was playing one of our games for the JRPG episode, and you were asking me because I think your deck hadn't come in yet, and you were asking me about like the docked experience, and I hadn't really actually played it docked. When it first launched, like I plugged it in because I bought like a third party like USB-C hub that has a HDMI and all that. It's basically all the dock is. And there was some strangeness in the user experience with plugging it into TVs, like higher resolution screens. It would like have to fill it, and it was kind of awkward looking. It didn't look this, and they've really fixed and improved and changed all of those. So like, it basically looks the same on your TV as it does on the screen. It just scales it instead of trying to fill in more space. Like you've upped the resolution, like they just turn the scaling up, and it's a lot nicer now. So
my TV is 10 years old. I don't think that I would have had that problem. Our newest TV is 10 years. Like it's still like a flat screen.
Sure.
It's I got it in like 2012.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, my game room TV. It's only the like living room for watching TV is 4K. The living room, I mean, the game room TV is only 1080p. But although, yeah, my computer desk where I probably was plugging in the first time is a 4K screen, and it was ridiculous. It was like, please stop using me on this screen. But no, I found the docked experience super nice. And I plugged in a controller and I was sending you screenshots there. Like every time I plugged in a different, because I have a ton of controllers. Because for a little while there, I was obsessed with game controllers. I was working on like a JavaScript library that detects them. But if I plugged in like the Xbox controller, it would change like the menu buttons to like the Xbox symbol to be like, hey, instead of push the Steam button to go to the menu, push the Xbox button. And then like I think
It's
when
like that for everything but the Nintendo one, right? Or
uh,
no, you couldn't test that one. I could test it.
well, I
have
have a
Pro
third
controller.
party Nintendo controller, the GameStop Link with the golden D-pad one, and
Yep.
it didn't do anything special. Like the home button did the appropriate thing, but it didn't. Yeah, Steam didn't pick up the icon, but I'm sure with an official Joy-Con it might. But it was just
Oh, I don't know about the Joy-Cons. I was thinking I
oh, a
saw that
Pro
it would.
controller. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Joy-Cons will work, but I think the Pro controller will.
Yeah. I mean, well, they're just Bluetooth.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have one in the other room. Even it's
yeah.
official. I'll try. I guess I'll try it later.
But it's nice that it was adapting to whatever you plugged into it. Like it was like, yeah, whatever. You've got a PlayStation controller here. This is the PlayStation buttons for your menu hints, which was super nice. Like, it's just showing the versatility of like Valve doesn't care what you do with it. They just want you to buy. Like they figure if you own this device, you'll probably buy some Steam games. Whatever else
Yeah.
you do with it is totally yours because it is just a PC with a gamepad attached instead of a keyboard attached.
Yeah, I think they're pretty aware of their audience for, because I think it is people who, like you said, have had like a backlog of Steam games who are buying this. Or I mean, they'll probably try to expand,
Yeah,
but like they know how to get the hype up.
and
Get
they're
it
like,
to people
I
who
don't
are
know,
going to love it,
it's nice
and
to
then
be
it'll sell itself.
yeah, it's nice to be treated like an adult. Like
Yeah.
here's a PC. We know it's a PC. You know it's a PC. Do what you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's been and even first, like I'm not familiar with, like I wouldn't say I'm not technically savvy. I've never really gone out of my way to, like, I mean, you're a software engineer, so you have like, or developer. I don't remember what you
Yeah,
said earlier.
same thing, basically. But
So you, like, I don't have any of that knowledge. Like I basically have the knowledge of like a more than casual computer user. Like I can do probably more than like your average like person who just uses the computer for like,
right.
Just like basic things.
I
Like,
mean, you're streaming and editing and doing a podcast and
yeah.
everything. Like you've been
So
gaming for a while.
I have, but I still don't, like, I wouldn't know how to go in and like, like if you hadn't told me like you need a file converter to get the Linux files for the Steam Deck to be able to, like, I wouldn't have known that. Like I wouldn't have even thought that that's a Linux system,
Right.
So,
yeah. So.
But even for me, it's been pretty easy to set everything. Well, it would have been easy to set up if I'd had the correct equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have all the emulation stuff set up, so it's not hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really good resources out there right now too. If you're just,
and it's really nice that it's mainstream because like everyone's figuring out how to do things, and they're like, oh yeah, here's a video, and it's like it's really nice. From like so I've been using Linux since high school, and I was super evangelistic and all that for quite a while, but I chilled out because you can only be an evangelist for so long before you're just like, yeah, whatever.
But like,
use
what
you
high
want.
School boy that uses Linux isn't that way for a little while?
Sure, of course. I mean, it's new, it's exciting, it's different, and like there's a whole philosophy argument. It's something to get into. It's it's a hobby basically. And you just hope that you don't turn into like that CrossFit guy or.
Oh God, is that a gateway?
No, gosh, no. I would say it's an anti-gateway. If you're in recompiling your kernel every day, you're not out working out.
That's probably true.
But no, it's from a technical like Linux standpoint, it's been really really cool seeing like this system is like the culmination of a lot of really interesting work that's been done the past like 10 years in Linux. Like the read-only file system. So like your home folder, like the equivalent of like your My Documents, or your user folder, basically. Yeah, your home folder is the only place that's read-write. Everything else in the system, all the OS files, are completely read-only. That is something that has been maybe possible for 5 years, and it's been kind of niche, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's used to an amazing effect here. It's used very similarly to how Android does updates with their AB partitions, where when you update the SteamOS, it updates it to like partition B, and then you reboot into partition B. Like it's just
okay.
It's neat. there's even the App Store using flat packs, that stuff. Oh, that's all behind the scenes stuff. You'd never know. The stuff in the App Store is powered by really new technology that's only kind of taken off very recently, and it's really cool to see. But that stuff like was important because you need that to install new apps on like a read-only file system. So like they all worked together. It's really, really interesting from like a crazy nerdy perspective. But from most normal people's perspective, I'm really, really happy that most people are like, oh yeah, I reboot into desktop mode and I open the App Store and I'm like, this is what I've been saying for years. People are like, oh, Linux is complicated. I'm like, no, there's an App Store. The App Store model was how Linux installed apps forever, and it was only until like mobile phones came out that other people figured out how to do it that way. Like, so it's really, really cool from like that super nerdy perspective, but you have no reason to need to know any of it, and that's nice.
I think that's what makes it so unique too, because it is the best of both worlds. Because right out of the box, as somebody who is very casual, maybe doesn't know a lot about computers, can still do a lot and enjoy it. But on the opposite end, somebody who's really into like the technical pieces and has an understanding, they can share that knowledge and feel a little, just like a little excited and a little special about knowing how to do that and passing. So it's really the best. Like, I think it's really brought a lot of gamers together that maybe otherwise wouldn't have done. Because I know I clicked on videos and watched articles that I wouldn't have watched otherwise or read otherwise if I hadn't purchased this. And I think the gaming community is better for it because I think it really opens up the door. It makes it feel less elitist, which obviously gaming can feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, and I think part of that's just because they just how low they managed to get the price down. Because like, it was like $400 or something for the cheapest one, which is the one we both bought.
The one I bought,
because that's the only one you need, because you can get SD cards and pop them in. All of my games are on the SD cards. I have one for Steam games and then the other one for ROMs and ISOs for emulation. And like that's wicked nice, and it's good that like the bare bones is all you need. Because like, yeah, $400, you're like, that's kind of like a brand new console, like, yeah. But then you think about it in terms of
more than the Switch, which is like the leading handheld console in the market now.
But you think about it in terms of like a laptop, like a gaming laptop.
Oh yeah.
And like it's cheaper than like your Walmart special laptops. Like that's incredible that they got the price down that. Like, and it's way more like useful than one of those like mini netbooks were.
And I mean, the price point, like I said, it's only $100 more than the Switch. Well, I think the Switch is probably still more appropriate for like kids. Unless like the parents are gonna like dock it and like that's how they're gonna play it. Because I can see a 6-year-old like enjoying the Steam Deck, but I don't think they're gonna be able to hold it. Versus like the Switch, because we were talking about this before. Like I picked up my Switch for the first time after using the Steam Deck for a couple of days, and it is so light and compact. So I think it's better for kids. But for only $100 more than that leading product, you get the Steam Deck that has so much more capabilities. You have a lot more freedom to set it up how there is no freedom on the Switch. Like there's probably ways to jailbreak it, but at the same time Nintendo is so protective about
I don't even like jailbreaking my systems when I can. Like
I know for a while if you did it on the 3DS and the system detected it when you did an update, it bricked the system. Like Nintendo does not want you to use things any way other than how it was designed.
And like I kind of get that. It's like it's their system. This is the terms to use it, yada yada. But like it's nice.
Nintendo wasn't so stingy and awful about everything, I would agree with you.
Yes.
But I mean, they do like copyright claims on like fan videos, like.
So it's nice that there is an alternative that's open and like do what you want. Here's some hardware we're selling you. It comes with a really cool OS. Like and 90% of what I'm doing is just all in gaming mode. Like my time in desktop mode is to set up things to then use in gaming mode.
Yeah.
Like I like the console like experience of the normal boot.
Yeah.
You know, but I can totally see, like, I could totally see someone using this as like a cheap computer, like just
Yeah.
because when you dock it, like here's a computer, here's your web browser, like use it as a computer, because it is one.
Yeah.
It would be, I don't know, like I wouldn't recommend it, but I can totally see someone doing it.
Like in a pinch, especially if all you're going to be doing is browsing the web, and like, I mean, like you can't do everything. Like you wouldn't be able to like edit audio or video on
You
it.
totally
Probably
can.
you could. Oh,
Yes, there are.
I take that back.
Yeah, no. Some of the more Linux focused YouTubers have been obsessed with the Steam Deck, and they're editing their episodes. They're editing their YouTube episodes with Kdenlive, which is a video editor, and they're using Audacity, like I'm in OBS. Like I'm using Audacity and OBS.
Same.
Today on my and they're there on the App Store. Yep. I'm sure it helps if you have the bigger internal hard drive,
oh, that's true.
Because all of your App Store apps get installed to the internal storage. I don't think you get to decide. You can't choose to install those to the SD cards. So that's my only qualm. Like, if you're gonna use it for like, if you're gonna be that YouTuber who like edits their video and does OBS streaming on their Steam Deck, like that's cool. But you're gonna want to get the bigger internal storage. Or open it up and replace the hard drive yourself.
Would you be able to stream just from the Steam Deck? So when I stream from my Switch, I have like a little thing that I set.
Right,
like,
you're recording the HDMI output.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's still the better way to do it.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't think you could stream the gaming mode. You could definitely stream the desktop mode, but I think that the games actually run slightly with fewer CPU cores in the desktop mode. So like I don't think it would be worth it. You totally could from desktop mode. I just have no idea about doing it from gaming mode.
It was just a thought. Like I would still do it the way that I have always done it because it's just it's the way I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and two, I think it's easier just to already have it on my computer that I'm going to be editing and uploading.
And again, where would all that I guess if you were streaming, it would just go to the internet, so it wouldn't matter. But if you were recording, all that recording footage would go into your internal storage.
And when I stream, I usually record it too. So when the 4 times I've streamed. Right.
So like I still think recording the HDMI output is probably like with a dock sort of thing. It would be the better way. Yeah. But you could, I guess. I'm sure you could set it up so that OBS was one of the, add it to the Steam list and you launch it, and I think you can have multiple apps running at the same time. You could figure it out. I'm sure somebody has. I wouldn't want to put
the effort into it, but it's interesting that you could.
But it's cool that you can. Right.
Someone out there is probably going to
I like the ability to do so. And I will say, my gosh, this thing is an emulation beast. I'm loving.
I can't wait to actually be able to set it up.
And I would love to help because I have a whole bunch of files and setup configs.
I'm probably gonna need the help.
There's so many configs that I set up EmuDeck. EmuDeck is like the nice setup launcher, and I think you went through that process a bit.
Yeah, I have that set up, and that's as far as I could go without being able to get the files to the Steam Deck.
Yeah, there's a lot of setup with that, but and even after I thought I had finished setting it up, I then kept adding new systems I wanted to try. So I added GameCube and Wii games. I'm like, oh, I need to do this now. Okay.
I hadn't figured out how to get other systems because I don't care about emulating anything super old. I want PS1, PS2, GameCube, the Dreamcast, kind of that era from
the 6th gen onward.
Yeah. I don't really have any interest in doing anything before that. I also, I have anything I would want to play from Nintendo that's older, I already own in some capacity.
Right.
Probably.
And honestly, so I set up
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I set up the 3 dot hack games that are Japanese only, and I think I was telling you this earlier. All 3 of them have gotten community English patches now, but Like, so I own the Dot Hack versus fighting game because it's like on the same disc as the movie. So you buy the movie and you pop it in your PS3, and it's the movie and the game at the same time, and then you can.
That's really cool.
It is really cool. Only a few Blu-rays did it, but it was possible. I think one of the like Tekken movies like had Tekken Tag Tournament on it or something. Um, but I have it. I can pop it in my PS3. I've played it. I would love to finally play the story mode, so I finally got the English patch, patched my game, yada yada, and threw that on there. And yeah, the PS3 emulation needs even more files and even more setup. So I was like, okay, I got to do this, and that, okay. So every time I added new systems, I had to do just a little bit more work with BIOS files and that sort of thing.
I think once I learned how to do it, I'd be able to do it, but I don't know if I have the technical like ability to do it all by myself.
I mean, a lot of it's just finding this stuff, and I already have the files, so I can save you some download time.
That's fair. I wouldn't even know where to find those.
Yeah.
I mean, I was having trouble finding ROMs, for God's sakes, just because all of the sites that I used to go to all look so sketchy now.
Right. Yep. So, but yeah, I got the PS3 emulation working, and that just blows my mind that I have a handheld
cool.
that can run a PS3 game.
That's really cool. So, that's really impressive.
I know.
It's such a good system.
I know.
Like,
I'm sure the battery life is going to be like.
So, the battery life is awful, but that's okay.
Well, so the thing is that
but it has to be for how powerful it is.
Right.
Like you wouldn't the battery life is exactly how I expected it to be. Bad, but it's because there's so much you can do in that tiny. Well, it's not even that small, but in tiny comparatively system.
So if you're pushing the system to its complete limit, like you're using the CPU and the GPU to its fullest, like playing AAA games or playing difficult emulation, or if you're blocking the fans.
If you're blocking the fans,
then like the worst it could do is I think like an hour 45 is like what the battery is rated for, and that's held true. But like,
I know it already has an event on the top, but I don't know where they would have put that other one, because I've had frame rate issues because I play with it on my lap.
Yeah,
and it's like if you block the vent, it's like I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna shutter. Okay. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. I have gotten with some like indie games, with some easier to emulate games. Like I have gotten like 6 hours on some games.
I got a bunch of hours off of just Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
And a couple of downloads. Like, so it's not that bad.
Yeah. I will say I have come across plenty of little odd quirks. The one quirk that my Steam Deck has is that, and it's happened a lot less since I had to completely reimage it, but it was doing this thing where when you put it to sleep, and I think it was like if you put it to sleep while it was charging, then like it wouldn't come back out of sleep. Like you could push the button and it would make the like the 3-beat chime, and then like I'd like hold the power button down to like kill it, and then you basically power it on after hard resetting it, and like that often does it for me, and it's fine.
I actually don't know if it did that for me, or if I'm just impatient because it didn't wake up fast enough and I hit the button and it just went back to sleep again. Yeah. So it could have been either.
Fair. Yeah, so I've had this where it just refused to wake up for a little while, which like I get that. I refuse to wake up sometimes.
Same.
But I've never had a PC do that to me, which is really odd. Even running Linux. Like it's not like a Linux thing, it's like a Steam Deck thing.
I have a Razer laptop, and sometimes it gets weird about, especially if the power dies and I'm trying to turn it back on after I plug it back in.
Gotcha.
Because I really enjoy, and I could probably change some settings, but like when it's like low battery, like it means it. Like if you don't plug it in the next 30 seconds, it shuts off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do like that the Steam Deck has the little notification like, hey, your battery's low. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it. I just wasn't.
I mean,
but it does happen.
3DS,
nice.
I believe the 3DS also did that, and the Switch definitely does. I didn't own a Vita, so I don't know if that
it does. It does.
It does.
Yep. It's got
I
a
don't
little
remember.
bubble.
I did own a PSP for a brief amount of time. I kind of wish I'd held on to it, to be honest.
I know, because I wish I had held on to a UMD PSP, because like all of the dirt cheap like silly movies you can get on UMD, I would totally collect those now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need another collection.
I think that's, I know, right? Same. But I think that's like the closest like handheld that's just you've been able to do more than what it was intended with.
Yeah. Well, it was super easy to hack those.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last time I had access to playing .hack Link, the PSP .hack game was on my PSP Go like years ago, and I had gifted that to a friend.
God. I remember thinking that was such a dumb idea when it came out. Like, why would I not want to be able to buy physical games? And here we are, like,
right.
I don't know.
This system that we're ranting and raving about that can only play download games. But the thing is that like discs go bad.
They go bad,
and like licenses come up, right? So things get delisted. But like with stores like GOG, with like piracy, like there are ways, like digital may be the better way to preserve things in the end.
I think it will be, yeah. I think my only I mean, we're running into this the fear that I had with when they first announced the PSP Go with the 3DS. You know, they're shutting down the store.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because it's set up differently than my Switch. Like if I needed to like transfer my Switch data or just like get my profile back to another Switch, I could easily do it. I couldn't figure out how to have two, because I own two 3DSs, and I wanted to use the XL one because it's a little bit easier to see now that I'm old. And I couldn't figure out like how to log into my Nintendo profile.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because it detected like another 3DS like system attached to my account, or if it was me user error. But like that's the only fear I have, is that you lose access to it, because I've spent a fair amount of money in the 3DS store.
Yep.
You know.
I mean, I had a bunch of stuff on the Wii shop that I can't re-download anymore.
Yeah.
Because
maybe it's just Nintendo that does that.
Maybe it's just Nintendo, because my Sony purchases, like, they're still limping along. I know they did shut down the PSP store stuff, but the Vita store is, even for purchasing, is still open. But they haven't shut me down from anything I've bought. Like, they've let me re-download everything so far.
Yeah.
They've forced everyone have two-factor authentication, which totally makes sense, because part of the reason to deprecate old systems is the security is really bad on old software. So like I get that 1,000%. But yeah, no, and then it's funny, the PSP Go, the disk drive for the PSPs was like the battery killer. Like that's the reason why the battery was so bad on PSPs. And like digital games had such better battery life. The only problem is that there was a few releases that never got physical editions, and those are ones that are getting remakes. It's like the one of the Kingdom Hearts that was released with
Birth by Sleep.
I think it was Birth by Sleep. It was it was released with the 2.8 final remix beforequel.
Beforequel. One of the weird ones.
Yeah, you know, it was released as compilation, and the Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, those are the two that
Crisis Core, and
I've always wanted to play that.
That just got announced as getting a remake in Square's big Final Fantasy VII anniversary.
Push. Yeah, I mean, oh god, they've been milking that forever.
Yeah. Well, and you know what?
But I'm happy that I can play it. I haven't bought the remake yet.
Yeah, I did. I haven't played it yet. I downloaded it to its own card because it's like 100 gigs.
Yeah, I think that I would play on my PC.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm just really happy that Square put the Steam Deck in their announcement video. They said this game is compatible with the Steam Deck, and like showed a picture of it on a Steam Deck. Like I
think they just assume anyone who's super into Final Fantasy VII still probably owns a Steam Deck.
You know what? That's fine.
You know, guilty.
That's totally
is
cool.
Charged.
But like, I love that. I didn't expect. I wouldn't expect, like, if HP came out with a gaming laptop, like you wouldn't expect like Square
Yeah.
Enix or PlayStation to put that gaming laptop in their presentation, right?
It is nice that such a big developer is pushing it.
Like
Like I
it's
would definitely expect indie developers to be like Steam Deck
oh heck
compatible
yeah.
because we're like kitschy and cute.
Yep.
Um and with it. But like especially for a company that isn't always with it, like Square Enix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I
It's
didn't realize that.
yeah, it's wicked cool. I'm just very happy because like it does straddle the line between a console and a PC. Like, because it is just a PC, but it's running a specialized gaming OS that people aren't necessarily familiar with, and it's like it really straddles this line really in a really cool way.
It's really cool. I'll admit I had a little bit of buyer's remorse when I first paid for it because I was like, I really shouldn't be buying this right now.
Yeah.
And even though because you can pay through PayPal and split up the payments, which is what I did, and put my 2DS GameStop Saga return.
Oh, what an ordeal!
Yeah, so for a little bit of context, I tried to buy a 2DS to to basically, jailbreak it a little bit. And just to kind of set it up, just to play around with it. And I bought it from GameStop. It came broken. I returned it and they mailed me another one, except it was somebody else's package with not my 2DS. And I went back and forth with GameStop for like a month about like, hey, you sent me, like, I don't know what to do. And they're like, we can't help you. Like, what do you mean? You made this mistake. Like,
That's
I
so
don't go
awful.
off on like customer service people ever, but I was like, this is unacceptable. Like, I have somebody's full ass information. So eventually I got the refund through PayPal.
Oh.
So, and I don't have the 2DS, so I just put the refund towards the Steam Deck.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, and I'm very glad I bought it. But it is a good chunk of change. I think it's definitely worth it for the price point because it does so much, and you can, customize it. You can. Fun fact: thumb grips for other controllers fit on it. I have some nice Sailor Moon ones on mine right now.
Yeah, and I've got some adorable glittery ghosties.
Ghosties.
Yeah, and it's funny. I actually put the Sega Saturn away because I have played a lot of games I wanted to on it, but also one of the games that I'll be talking about in the JRPG episode is a Saturn game, and it worked beautifully on the Steam Deck. And like I have the RetroTink 5X to upscale it and make it look nice, but like the CRT filter like shaders that you can apply in RetroArch like make it look so good. and like you can I was able to upscale it a little bit, like 2 times sharper polygons and then the filter, and then I was logged into retro achievements, so like I was getting achievements on the Saturn. Nice. It just, the experience was so nice that I'm like, all right, I can put the Saturn away for a little bit, and that's where I've set up my Steam Deck dock.
Yeah,
in that cube.
I haven't regretted it since and I knew once I had it in my hands, I'd be fine with the decision.
Yeah.
And it's been great. Like, I'm playing games. I've had a couple of small problems. Stardew Valley kept crashing. I don't think it liked the touch screen very much. So I've been using it minimally and it hasn't crashed since. The other game that I couldn't get to work, and it's not like verified for it or anything, was the Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 game. And I think it's probably just a matter of me being impatient and needing to like play around with the control settings a little bit, but I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's weird. And maybe honestly, maybe there's a tool called Proton Up Qt, I think, like Proton Up Qt. I can link you later, but it lets you install like so Valve has their Proton compatibility layer, right? So games that are made exclusively for Windows run via Steam Play, and Steam Play just picks a compatibility layer to run that game under, Proton being the one they ship by default. But the community has like their own like bleeding edge with extra patches applied version of it, like Proton GE, Glorious Egg Roll, and that had support for games like Persona 4 for like 2 months before the official version of Proton did. So
nice.
maybe installing a like a community version of Proton and changing the
Yeah.
compatibility might
I
help.
think it's just a
Might help.
matter of figuring. I also think it would work fine with a controller.
Mm.
And it's just the like the touch screen slash like, because I remember playing it on the PC and that was a game that ran weird on the PC. I think it was originally a PS3 game.
Yeah.
And I think it's a game that doesn't like being played on anything but what it was made for.
Gotcha.
So I don't think that's the Steam Deck. I think it's the game, because the 5 minutes I played on the PC like a couple of years ago was miserable, and I was like, I'm gonna revisit this.
Gotcha.
And then I just never did.
So
I don't think it's a game.
Yeah. So you've not had it for very long, but is there any games that you've been playing like a bunch and have been really happy about the portable experience?
Yeah, been playing Stardew Valley a lot. And then what was the other thing? The Crash Bandicoot.
The remasters of the.
Yeah, I got it from a humble monthly bundle, I think.
Oh, cool.
So I think those are the two things I put the most time in. But like I have a bunch of like small games that I just like haven't
dipped your toes a little bit.
Yeah, like things that I know I like, but just haven't really wanted to sit down at my computer and play. Like I've downloaded Celeste.
Oh, that was a good game.
Yeah, Calico, Castle of Illusion, Danganronpa, A Hat in Time, and then I downloaded Jurassic Park Evolution just to see what the mobile experience was like.
Oh, cool.
So that's kind of a test, because that's something I couldn't see myself really enjoying handheld.
Yeah.
Just because of like how much.
Yeah, because it's a very mouse and keyboard kind of game.
Yeah, it's very because it's like Zoo Tycoon. With,
yeah. So you're gonna be spending a lot of time with the trackpad. And
so I don't know.
Screen.
So I'll see how I like that, but
nice. Yeah, I picked up. I haven't played it much yet, but I picked up one of the Civilization games to see for the same reason. I'm like, I want to see how running this very mouse and keyboard heavy game will feel, because sometimes just because it's possible doesn't make it means it's gonna feel right.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say it's nice. Danganronpa on the Steam Deck is gonna be nice, because those games were for the Vita originally. Like they were handheld to begin with.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to go back to handheld.
The last two were verified to work. The first one was like it could work.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll be fine.
And they announced that sometime in the fall or winter, the Persona games are going to be ported to Switch. I mean, nice. Sorry, not Switch.
I know what you meant.
Whew, everything else but Switch.
Yeah.
the Xbox, the PlayStation, and the Steam in general. So Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So Persona 3 portable. Persona 4 is already there for most systems, and Persona 5.
Persona 4 is the one that I've actually played, because I own it for PS4.
Yeah, I'll probably get into it more in our JRPG episode, but I've played all 3 of those, and I'm very happy that they're going to be more widely available.
Yeah, me too. Because the first one was one of the ones that I wanted to emulate on Steam Deck, so I'm excited that it's just going to be easier.
Yeah. Persona 3, 4, 5 are really good. 1 and 2 are good games, but they are much older games, and they are very different games from 3, 4, 5. They don't play. What I've heard. They don't play the same at all. But they are good in their own right. I just haven't had the time to really immerse myself in them.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. As for me, I've been playing. Yeah, I played through Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and
I should download a shooter like that to see how it feels.
Grapple Dog. Is it so a platformers? So I've played a bunch of I played a couple first-person shooters. I played a bunch of Metroidvanias.
Chrono Trigger was the other one, because I just bought it because it was on sale.
I think I was saying earlier on another episode that I was playing Dead Space. I don't feel like handheld is the way to do it.
No, but I think.
But I can also dock the system now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a better experience than playing it on the PS3, because it's.
I also specifically like playing survival horror games only with headphones.
That's fair. I do have new earbuds, and the Steam Deck pairs with Bluetooth buds awesomely. It works just as you'd expect it to, which is really nice.
Nice.
So I picked up some new earbuds. So.
Very nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, other than that, funny enough, a lot of the games that I've been playing, like Dead Space. I played a little bit of a game called Quantum Conundrum, which is like a Portal knockoff with John Delancey as the like mad scientist voice, um, famous for playing Q.
Nice.
And like it, and like Sonic Generation, like it's Steam Deck is a champ at playing PS3 games that got a PC port. Because like those games all ran better on PC, not initially, but after a few years for sure. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm still getting my way through Metroidvania, Fist, the one with the rabbit with the giant like steampunk arm. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I can say about the deck for now. Other than my gosh, I'm enjoying it.
Me too. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see really what it can do, especially when I can emulate on it, because I think that's the thing I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Like, and I know I can emulate on my computer. I just don't want to.
It just hits different.
It does. It does. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Especially like the fact that it's like it's like, I don't know, what would you say, the screen is like slightly bigger than a Switch?
Oh, it's a lot bigger.
Okay. But it's still like a lot smaller than a TV or a monitor.
Yeah.
And so it makes older games look a lot better because those pixels ain't so chunky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I was playing a bit of Sonic Origins earlier on the TV, and then I picked it up on the deck instead, and I was like, oh man, these cinematics, these animations, like the pixel art, it all looks really good on this, just the slightly smaller screen. So
yeah, Chrono triggers looked great so far.
Yeah.
And then I did get the Dot Hack remake because that was $10 on sale.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yes. That game was surprising at the time. I thought when it was announced that it was a PS3 game, but it's a PS2 game that just has a lot of effects. So the remake cleaned up nicely.
Yeah, sure. So I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Right. Well, I hardly think it makes any sense for us to say what we're going to be playing next, because we basically just described
JRPGs.
What we're doing. Yeah, right. Prepping for the next episode and diving more into Steam Decks is what we'll be doing. So
yes.
Well, thank you, listeners. I'm so glad that you came here to listen to us gush about the Steam Deck. And if you were on the fence and it's within your current budget, like, I hope that we made things make sense for you one way or another.
And I'll be the first to be cynical about new hardware, especially because Valve didn't have the best track record before. So I was skeptical even though I put my deposit down, but it's definitely exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. And like, the one thing I will say about Valve hardware is they've had their issues. The Steam controller got discontinued pretty early. The Steam machines weren't really a thing. They were just a marketing word that confused everyone. The Index has a lot of RMA. The VR headset has a lot of like broken hardware returns. But Valve does continue to support their products even when they're discontinued. Like, when I plugged in my Steam controller to the Steam Deck, because I bought it when they were like liquidating like all of them for $5, right? Yeah, they're way more than that now because they're collectible. But and I plugged it into my Steam Deck to use it as my like docked controller. I had a new update. I had a new firmware update for the thing because they keep supporting their products for years and years and years, just like their games. So like, I'm confident that like they're gonna keep supporting this hardware for a long time, which makes me feel really good about the purchase.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back soon with the JRPG episode. But yeah, thank you so much for joining.
All right, bye.